Have you ever looked at a loved one in their golden years, someone you've known your entire life, and noticed subtle, almost imperceptible changes? Perhaps they're sleeping more, much more than they used to. Maybe they're eating less, pushing away the very meals they once cooked with love. Or maybe they've begun to quietly pull away from the lively family gatherings they once orchestrated. Have you found yourself caught in that quiet, anxious space, wondering, is this just a normal, inevitable part of aging? Or is it a sign of something deeper, something more profound? These aren't just random occurrences. They could be silent, gentle warnings, signs that world-renowned medical experts from leading institutions like Johns Hopkins University and the Mayo Clinic say can appear up to 6 or even 9 months before the end of life. In this video, we will compassionately and clearly walk through 7 of these critical signs. My purpose here is not to evoke fear, but to empower you with understanding. This knowledge is a gift. It's a tool that allows you to provide better, more intuitive care, to truly understand what is happening within your loved one's body, and to make every single shared moment count. It is absolutely crucial that you stay with me until the end, because the 7th sign is so often overlooked, dismissed even by experienced nurses and caregivers, yet hospice specialists describe it as one of the most reliable and deeply meaningful indicators of life's final chapter. Grasping these signs can fundamentally transform how you support your loved one, ensuring their most precious final moments are filled not with confusion or distress, but with profound comfort, unwavering dignity, and a sense of peace. Before we begin, if this mission of spreading compassionate knowledge resonates with you, you can help me continue this work by liking this video. And if you haven't yet, I warmly recommend you subscribe and click the notification bell so you never miss our guidance on navigating life's most important and challenging chapters. Now, let us begin with the first sign.
Sign number 1. Dramatic and profound changes in sleep patterns. One of the earliest and telling signs that a person may be approaching the end of life is a significant, often dramatic change in their sleep patterns. To be clear, this is not about feeling a bit more tired in the afternoon or struggling with an occasional bout of insomnia, which are common aspects of aging. This refers to a fundamental alteration in their state of being. We're talking about a loved one who suddenly begins sleeping for 15, 18, or even 20 hours a day. Often, this excessive daytime sleep is paradoxically paired with periods of significant restlessness, agitation, or confusion at night. This profound shift signals that the body's internal priorities are changing. It is preparing for its ultimate natural transition by conserving a vast amount of energy. Think of the body as having a finite energy budget. In its final stages, it stops spending that energy on external activities like socializing, hobbies, or even staying awake, and redirects every last resource toward only the most essential, core physiological processes. Research from Harvard Medical School's esteemed Division of Geriatrics explains this phenomenon in detail. As the body's metabolism slows down dramatically, the brain's regulation of the sleep-wake cycle, our internal clock or circadian rhythm, becomes increasingly erratic. Dr. Susan Mitchell, a leading geriatrician in this field, notes that this creates a hallmark pattern: extreme daytime somnolence combined with nighttime agitation. It's a clear sign that the body is beginning its final natural shutdown sequence. Let me paint a picture for you with the story of Arthur, a 78-year-old retired history teacher from Tennessee. Arthur was a man of steadfast routine, a man who lived for his afternoon game shows and the evening news. For weeks, his family noticed he was dozing off during these programs. At first, they'd gently tease him about it, but soon the naps grew longer, and the dozing turned into deep sleep that lasted for hours, until he was sleeping nearly 18 hours a day. But the nights became a challenge. He would be awake, restless, sometimes confused, pacing the hallway. This new reality left both Arthur and his devoted family physically and emotionally exhausted. His daughter, out of love and hope, initially chalked it up to boredom or just a passing phase. However, a compassionate medical evaluation confirmed that Arthur's body wasn't bored. It was beginning its final work.
Ignoring these signs, or misinterpreting them, can lead to missed opportunities to provide deep comfort. When these sleep patterns shift, the stress on caregivers can be immense. But recognizing these changes for what they are allows you to create a more supportive, peaceful environment. So what can you do? Start by becoming a gentle observer. Keep a simple log in a notebook. Note the hours slept, the periods of wakefulness, and any instances of agitation. This isn't a clinical task. It's an act of love that provides invaluable information for healthcare providers. You can then adjust the daily routine. Make the daytime a sanctuary for sleep. Dim the lights, keep noise to a minimum. For nighttime restlessness, try calming music, a gentle hand massage, or simply your quiet, reassuring presence. Acting with this understanding ensures your loved one receives the profound comfort they need during this deeply sensitive time. Sign number 2. A profound loss of appetite and significant weight loss. Another critical indicator is a pronounced and persistent loss of interest in food, which is almost always accompanied by significant unintentional weight loss. This goes far beyond the occasional disinterest in a meal or a picky phase. This is when a person consistently stops enjoying their most cherished, favorite dishes. It's turning away from the homemade lasagna that was a Sunday tradition, or declining the slice of apple pie they've loved for 60 years. This disinterest can progress over weeks to a near-complete refusal of food, often resulting in a weight loss of 10, 15 pounds or more without any intentional dieting. Why does this happen? According to end-of-life care specialists at the Mayo Clinic, this change occurs because the entire digestive system slows down dramatically as a fundamental part of the body's natural dying process. The body's metabolic demands plummet. It no longer needs the fuel required for an active, long life. Food, therefore, becomes unappealing, and the process of eating and digesting can even become uncomfortable. It's crucial to understand this is not a matter of stubbornness, it is not a psychological protest, and it is not a passing mood. It is a profound biological shift. The body is wisely redirecting its limited energy away from the hard work of digestion. Consider the case of Margaret, an 82-year-old matriarch from Michigan. For 6 decades, her home was the heart of the family, and her vibrant Sunday dinners were legendary. Her family first grew concerned when she started pushing her plate away after only a couple of bites. Soon after, she stopped asking about her famous apple pie altogether. Within 2 months, Margaret had lost 15 pounds. Her family, in their love and fear, tried everything. They cooked her favorites, they pleaded, they worried. They attributed the change to stress or depression. It was only after a conversation with a palliative care nurse that they understood. Margaret's body was communicating its needs, and its need was no longer for food. When families don't recognize this, they can inadvertently create a battleground around the dinner table. They expend enormous energy worrying about calories and trying to reverse the weight loss, which leads to immense frustration and guilt for both the individual and their caregivers. Understanding this as a natural process allows you to pivot from feeding to nurturing. Instead of pressuring your loved one to eat a full meal, you can offer small, comforting tastes without any expectation. A spoonful of their favorite ice cream, a sip of warm broth,
a piece of melon. These become tender moments of connection and care, not conflict. Keeping a simple food diary and noting weekly weight changes will help you communicate accurately with healthcare providers and ensure the care plan is rightly focused on comfort and dignity, not on calories. Before we move on, I want to create a space for our community. This journey can feel incredibly lonely. If you have walked this path or are on it right now with someone you love, I invite you to type the word dignity in the comments below. It serves as a quiet acknowledgement, a sign of solidarity and deep compassion for everyone here. Thank you. Sign number 3, increasing social withdrawal and disengagement. A noticeable, steady withdrawal from social interactions and the activities that once brought joy can be a profound sign that a person is preparing for their final transition. This is not the same as having a bad mood or a temporary disinterest. It is a deeper psychological and spiritual shift where the individual begins to turn their energy inward, away from the external world. They might stop returning phone calls from lifelong friends, decline invitations to beloved family events, or simply seem quiet, distant, and reflective in a home that was once filled with their laughter. Palliative care specialists at Johns Hopkins University explain that this disengagement serves a critical and healthy purpose. It allows the individual to conserve their dwindling emotional and physical energy. On a deeper level, it helps them to begin the process of gradually releasing their earthly attachments, which can reduce emotional turmoil and help them prepare for what lies ahead. Think of Robert, a 76-year-old from Ohio. For 25 years, he was the life of his weekly poker game and never missed his grandson's baseball games. When he suddenly stopped wanting to go, simply saying he didn't feel up to it, his family was hurt and confused. They assumed he was angry or depressed. It took them months to understand that Robert's withdrawal wasn't a rejection of them. It was an acceptance of his own journey. Misinterpreting this behavior can cause deep pain and can cause families to push for social engagement that only creates more stress. Recognizing this withdrawal for what it is allows you to offer your presence in a new, more gentle way. Healthcare providers recommend offering low-pressure opportunities for connection. A brief visit where you simply sit together in comfortable silence can be more meaningful than a loud family party. A short phone call just to say, "I love you," is enough. The focus must shift from the quantity of activities to the quality of your presence. Your quiet understanding, your patience, and your respect for their need for solitude will create a supportive, loving environment that honors their emotional process during this sacred time.
Sign number 4, unusual confusion or new mental changes. The sudden appearance of unusual mental changes can be one of the most startling and challenging signs for families to witness. It's important to distinguish this from the slow, gradual progression of a known condition like dementia. This can manifest as acute disorientation about time or place, vivid and detailed conversations with loved ones who have passed away, or dramatic personality shifts that seem completely out of character. What is happening here? Neurological studies from the Cleveland Clinic indicate that these changes often stem from a combination of factors, including decreased oxygen flow to the brain, metabolic shifts, and dehydration, all of which alter cognitive processing. However, what is truly fascinating is that neurologists and hospice workers frequently observe that these experiences, especially seeing or speaking with deceased loved ones, often serve a deeply comforting psychological purpose. They can provide a profound sense of peace, resolution, and connection as a person nears the end of their life. Let me share the story of Elizabeth,
an 80-year-old from Florida who began having long, joyful conversations with her late husband, Michael. She would describe his presence in the room, what he was wearing, and the loving messages he had for the family. Initially, her children were terrified, fearing a sudden and aggressive onset of dementia. But they astutely noticed that between these episodes, Elizabeth was perfectly lucid. She knew who they were, she knew the date, and she could discuss current events. When families mistake these visions for psychosis or delirium, their fear can lead them to argue, to correct, or to seek aggressive medical interventions that are neither helpful nor appropriate. The most compassionate response is to meet them where they are. Do not argue or try to reorient them to your reality. Their reality is valid and meaningful for them in that moment. You can respond with gentle curiosity. That sounds wonderful. What is he saying? By validating their experience, you provide immense comfort. Document these episodes to share with healthcare professionals, but in the moment, your primary role is to be a calm, non-judgmental, and loving presence. Your peace will help them maintain theirs.
Sign number 5. A marked decrease in mobility and increased weakness. A marked and often rapid decrease in physical strength and mobility is another critical sign. Again, this is different from the slow, gradual weakening that comes with typical aging. This is a profound loss of energy and muscle function that makes even the simplest of tasks, like walking from the bedroom to the kitchen, lifting a cup of tea, or even shifting position in a chair, feel like a monumental effort. This weakness often progresses over just a few weeks or months, leading to a significant loss of independence. The science behind this, as explained by the American Geriatric Society, is that the body is in a state of extreme energy conservation. It is redirecting all available resources away from skeletal muscle function to prioritize keeping the vital organs, the heart, lungs, and brain, functioning for as long as possible. In this process, the body may even begin to break down its own protein reserves from muscle tissue to support these essential functions, leading to rapid strength loss. David, a 79-year-old from Texas, was a man who had found his greatest joy in his garden. It was his sanctuary. Last spring, his family watched, heartbroken, as he went from tending his roses one week to needing help just to get out of his armchair the next. He struggled to lift even a small watering can. His family's first instinct was to try to build him back up with better nutrition and encouragement, but they soon learned from his doctor that his body was in its end-stage process, and the weakness was an irreversible part of that journey. Ignoring this sign or pushing for previous levels of activity can create serious safety risks, most notably falls, which can cause preventable injuries, pain, and a much more rapid decline. The moment you recognize this significant weakness, your priority must shift from promoting independence to ensuring absolute safety and comfort. This means creating a safer environment. Remove tripping hazards like rugs, install grab bars in the bathroom, and arrange for supportive equipment like a walker or a shower chair. More importantly, it means accepting that your loved one needs help and providing it with grace and love, preserving their dignity at every turn. Sign number 6. Discernible changes in breathing patterns.
As a person gets closer to the end of life, their breathing patterns can change in very noticeable ways. This can be one of the more distressing signs for families to witness if they don't understand what is happening. These changes can manifest as highly irregular breathing. You might observe periods of rapid, shallow breaths, followed by periods of much slower, deeper breaths. There may be noticeable pauses between breaths, sometimes lasting for 10, 20, or even 30 seconds. This specific pattern is often called Cheyne-Stokes respiration. You may also hear a rattling or gurgling sound with each breath. This sound is caused by the person's inability to cough up or clear normal fluids and secretions from their throat. It is vital to understand this. According to Dr. Linda Garcia of the National Hospice Foundation, these breathing changes in sounds are typically not painful or distressing for the individual. They are the natural result of the heart and lungs beginning to function less effectively. They are not a sign of a respiratory emergency that requires an ambulance or aggressive invasive interventions. They are a sign that the body is naturally slowing down. Failing to recognize this can lead to panic and unnecessary, stressful medical procedures that do not align with a goal of comfort care. Your role is to provide a calm, peaceful environment. You can gently raise the head of the bed or use pillows to adjust their position, which can often ease their breathing. A cool, humidified cloth on their forehead can be soothing. Using a fan to gently circulate air in the room can also help. But most importantly, your calm, reassuring presence, holding their hand, speaking in a soft voice, is the most powerful comfort you can offer. And now we arrive at the seventh and final sign, the one that is so often missed, yet so beautifully reveals the human spirit's innate need for peace as it prepares for its final journey.
Sign number 7. A deep, urgent desire to resolve unfinished business. One of the most profound and moving signs of nearing the end of life is a sudden, often urgent desire to address and resolve unfinished business. This drive can manifest in many ways. A sudden need to give away specific, cherished possessions to particular individuals. An overwhelming urge to finally offer or ask for an apology for a past grievance, or a deep need to have those important heart-to-heart conversations that may have been postponed for years. Let me be clear, this is not the same as routine estate planning or simple decluttering. Hospice specialists across the country report that this is a deep, instinctual psychological preparation for death. It is driven by an innate human need to achieve a sense of closure, order, and peace. By addressing these unresolved issues, individuals can dramatically reduce their anxiety and approach their final days with a greater sense of acceptance and tranquility. This process isn't about morbidly dwelling on the past, it's about creating a sense of completion that allows them to transition with dignity. Take the example of Samuel, a proud Nevada resident who, after a bitter 15-year estrangement from his brother, felt an overwhelming need to reconnect. Around the same time, he began the meticulous process of distributing his cherished woodworking tools to his neighbors and grandchildren, explaining the personal history of each item and why it now belonged with them. Initially, his family mistook these actions as signs of depression or confusion, but they soon came to realize that Samuel was intentionally and with great love putting his world in order. By helping him make that difficult phone call to his brother, they gave him the most beautiful final gift, the peace of reconciliation. When families overlook or dismiss these requests as morbid or unnecessary, they risk losing a final, precious opportunity for meaningful connection and healing. To honor these wishes, listen with an open and attentive heart. Be a facilitator. Help them make the difficult phone call. Write the letter or arrange the visit. Document the stories, the memories, or the words of wisdom they wish to share. These actions provide immeasurable comfort to your loved one and become lasting, treasured gifts for all who survive them. Acting promptly is crucial, as these sacred opportunities for closure may not be available tomorrow. As we conclude,
I want to hear from you, from this community we are building together. Having learned about these 7 silent signs, what is the one key takeaway that has resonated with you the most? Maybe it's a new understanding of social withdrawal or the importance of honoring a loved one's visions. Please share one key insight in the comments below. Your story and your perspective could be a beacon of hope and understanding for someone else facing these tender moments. If you found this guidance helpful, please leave a comment, like this video, share it with someone who might need to hear this message, and subscribe to our channel for more essential guidance to support you and your loved ones through all of life's most precious chapters.